Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Mama's gonna buy you a mockingbird. If that mockingbird don't sing, Mama's gonna buy you a diamond ring. If that diamond turns to brass, Mama's gonna buy you a looking glass. She's small for her age, moon-faced, almost no breast development. Notice the classic deformities of the PIPs, the ulnar deviation. Has she had a bowel movement? Has she? Dear, have you had a bowel movement yet? What? She's small for her age, scoliosed, sparse pubic growth. Notice the classic deformities of the MIPs, the radial deviation. Has she started menses? Has she? Have you had a period yet, dear? What? She's small for her age, round-shouldered. Rise and shine. Time for Agryl, aspirin, Benadryl, cortisone, Darvon, Darvocet, Demerol. What? She's small for her age, pigeon-toed. She's small for her age, knock-kneed. Rise and shine. Time for bed rest, exercise, hot packs, traction, bed rest, exercise, hot packs. She's small for her age. She's small for her age. She's small. Stop. She's small for her age. Shine time, set rain, clean catch, scoop of shit, deer, blood, just a little pinprick to the bone marrow, to the eardrum, cut off the nodule, realign hip bone, scrape, cut, saw, stop, no. Rebuild the classic deformity of, she's small for her age, she's small. Rebuild the classic deformity of the, no! Now the question is, how do you get from there to here in one lifetime? Well, anger is a damn good start. No has fueled many a revolution. And without a doubt, without anger, I would have never been able to get to that place where I was able to say, no, this is not who I am. But I wanted more than that. I wanted to be able to say, yes, this is who I am. And so along with anger, I found it was particularly helpful to pay attention to those tiny moments of grace life sometimes offers. Sarah, who is 3 and too young to understand the personal or political ramifications of different, holds my hands in hers and says, like marshmallows. Not exactly the first word you think of when it comes to hands, but I thought it had possibilities. See, I had long been aware of the power of a word. When you are raised deformity, you are aware of the power of a word. Deformity. Marshmallow. Aha. Perhaps there is a fuller story. Perhaps it is our job to tell that story with the truth. Mine are the hands of your bad dreams. Booga booga. From behind the black curtain. Claw hands. The ivory girl's hands after a decade of roughing it. Crinkled, puckered, sweaty and scarred. A young woman's dwarf knobby hands that ache for moonlight, that tremble and struggle. Hands that make your eyes tear. My hands. My hands. My hands that grace your brow, your thighs. My hands. A trick I learned along the way is that if you can learn to love those parts that you really believe are the hardest to love, why the rest just comes along for the ride. You can spend a lot of time thinking about these differences, worrying about who am I, but there was taught me faster who I am. or at least who I want to be, than when I finally got the opportunity to take these differences into the world. I am the woman in the wheelchair who chronicles events in her notebook. Now, I know this is me because I can see my reflection in the eyes of the uniformed officer who is asking me to leave. You're blocking entrance to this theater, he says. Entrance. That's an interesting word. You are interfering with the rights of others, he says. I would hate to inconvenience anyone. The manager says I should come back tomorrow when there are fewer people and my aisle position won't be such a fire hazard. Bush is in the White House. Who can think of Saturday matinees? Do you really think your cause will be helped by alienating people, he says? My cause is to see the movie. People are responsible for their own alienation. I have to arrest you, he says. I have to sit here. We both have our jobs to do. Taking it into the world. One guarantee about being in the world, well, it's a hell of a lot better than not being in the world. But besides that, being in the world, you will have your anger reinforced frequently, sometimes daily. And because there are so many gigantic affronts in the world that we can scream no at all we want, it doesn't seem to have much effect. When somebody has the audacity to get up close and personal and insult me, well, how can you not talk back? I see you staring. You want to pluck my nubby fingers? You want to pluck them, tie them with velvet, place them in a vase with fresh water and aspirin, then watch, see if they'll bloom? I see you staring. I see you cringing. Would you like to stick your finger in my twisted spine? Would you like to stick your finger in, lift it out, then check? See if you can tell which way the wind blows. I see you cringing. I hear you laughing. Would you like to trace my scars? Would you like to trace them, connecting all the lines and bumps and blotches? See if you can decipher the code, reveal the hidden message. I hear you laughing. I heard what you called me. Would you like to kiss my pain? Would you like to kiss it? Would you like to lick it and suck it and hump it? Maybe you'd like to see if you could make it come. I heard what you said. What can I say? Talking back. It's not going to endear you to a hell of a lot of people, but you sleep better at night. Of course, as much as an individual can hurt you with their insensitivity and their outright cruelty, it ain't nothing compared to what systems can do. You know, those systems that were set up solely to serve us? So I have this mole dressed up like melanoma. Oh, now I know you can't judge a book by its cover. But we're not allowed to read the story without prior authorization from Medi-Cal. 6 weeks to 6 months. Time enough for metastasis. Oh, and if I die, sure ain't gonna be no flag-draped casket. I ain't no bloody war hero. I'm just an SSI cripple. Wrap me up in red tape. And my epitaph? Oh, don't you dare etch it in dead stone. Take it to the streets. Take it to the streets. No more. No more waiting for authorization. Anger. I'm afraid it's a vital part of the story. Now, I don't know about you all, but But sometimes I get really tired of the fight. And I really feel sometimes that I just got to get away from it all. Now, I can't ever get away from the disability. That's okay. We coexist fairly peacefully these days. But sometimes, man, I just got to get away from the politics of disability. And on those days, I just declare myself a crippled island. And I go out and there's nothing, there's no paperwork, there's no social workers, there's no shuck and jive to survive. There's just me, the tree, the sky. And if I am very lucky, it'll be raining. Because there is nothing I like doing more when I need a rest than watching the rain. I love watching rain. Grayness, cooling colors. Greens no longer talk so loud. And the bricks on that old house on the corner, their hue is rich, full-blooded from the rain. I love watching rain, looking through my window, work spread out before me, with my picture of Elvis, lean and nasty-eyed to wonder at. And if I feel like it, a blast of Springsteen, all wounded dreams and pretty girls. I love watching rain, curled up by a crackling fire, kitten at my elbow. But not stuck under the magnolia in the yard of the Buddhist temple, electric wheelchair taking on water like the hull of the Andrea Doria. I love watching rain, but not stuck under a damn magnolia, because I'm still vain enough to hate how I look in rain gear, like a pup tent on wheels. I love watching rain, from the van at the headlands, midnight colors at noon, ocean foaming mossy against the cliff's gnarls and crags. Such pleasure I take in the spit and hiss, the salty stench, sweet earth as she cools and renews. I love watching rain, sprawled before a roaring fire, Courvoisier at my elbow. But not stuck in J.C. Penney's doorway like an oddball abstract sculpture, a pigeon perch in the doorway, awaiting the next busload of tourists. I love watching rain from any well-stocked oasis, feet propped upon a pillow. But most especially, I love watching rain on the rare occasion I remember machine and flesh lead separate lives, and I tilt my face to the blackest cloud until my hair is sealed slick and my clothes have to be peeled like the skin from a peach. Then, ooh, I love watching rain as it pounds against my thighs and sings off my elbows, wet. Sometimes it really helps to get a little wet, to remind us how alive we are. Being in the world. The very, very best thing about being in the world is having a community. Now, I never had a community until I was 30 and moved to Berkeley. Community, that's that group of people for whom you are not the other. You know what I'm talking about. Friends. And of course, I like my friends sassy. Like Clubfoot Annie wearing bright red shoes. Yeah. Like Harriet the Hairlip delivering the news. Yeah. Like spastic Jenny stroking the cat on her hat. And one-legged Ruthie, she teaches tap. You clap hands, you shimmy, you shout. You rock your tired ideas right out like sassy girls, Like old blind Wilma reading a novel a day. She just ain't doing it in the ordinary way. And Capuchin the Deafy and Deaf Lily Roo, bet she can't keep up with the talking they do. Now who you calling crazy? Mary Louise? She's the one knows how to talk to trees. Yeah. You clap hands, you shimmy, you shout. You rock your tired ideas right out like sassy girls. Like Mumtaz, the mute one, preaching the word. And Diana, the cripple, she flies like a bird. Like all of us crips who sing a struggling tune. And at midnight, together, yeah. Howl at the moon. You clap hands, you shimmy, you shake. Ain't nothing but your worn-out notions at stake. You skip a rope, hear that sound. A bunch of stereotypes hitting the ground. You clap hands, you shimmy, you shout. You rock your tired ideas right out like sassy girls, sassy girls, yeah, sassy. Of course, as great as community is, one does not live by community alone. Intimacy. That final frontier. Of course, right here, about here, I usually jump full force into intimacy, but I think for a change, I'd like a little romance first. So, I think I'd like to go back to that first kiss. That first real kiss. Now, like a lot of disabled people, I was, oh, shall we say, a late bloomer. Yeah. So by the time I got around to that first real kiss, I was extremely ready. And oh, so shy. That afterwards, in that space that seems to need to be filled with words, what I wanted to say, what I wanted to say was, when you kiss me, my lips, oh, my lips, babe, and then my larynx like a cat in my throat starts purring, and my esophagus, liver, and spleen begin trioing a blues in a low moan, and my belly, inside and button, start talking low, dancing slow, making sweet rhythm, until my thighs, those cotton candy delights, hum, and each cell, harmony. Of course, what I say is, that was nice. Yeah, yeah. The moments we remember. I'd like to be able to say that once I got to that first real kiss, I got on a roll. But the story is not that simple. You can't live 30 years of your life as a deformity and snap into, hey, baby, just like that. It took a lot of hard work and a lot of love to be ready for love. So I spent a lot of nights kind of like this. Here we sit, separately cloaked. I in my deformity tuxedo, you wearing confidence like a feathered hat. Today, you bring appropriate word choices and fine wine. I bring spring colors and all my moods. We chink glasses, offer toasts, I to the firmness of your thighs, you to my green eyes. You plump pillows remarking, Kierkegaard was right about so many things. No doubt, I said, as I watched the flicker of the cat's tail, sunlight streaking his amber coat. We nod and smile. I play shadow games, distracted by my twists and gnarls. But when the sky turns midnight blue, you swear, and I believe, that my curled paws are sequined slivers of the moon. Takes a lot of hard work and a lot of love before you get to the point where you can say, partners, he and I, co-conspirators in the ongoing war against lonely. 13 years we've sweated it out. Sometimes back to back, me needing, fix me. He with his own wounds. His eyes and hands remind me there is a woman connected to the gnarled joints I see reflected in the eyes of passing strangers. 13 years we've worked and held the line. My eyes and hands remind him there is a man connected to the wilted muscles he sees reflected in the eyes of passing strangers. 13 years we've worked, we've held the line. We've drunk too much. We talked too much, faltered, retreated, laughed out loud at awkward moments. Still, we soothe and steady each other as trees bend and brown and green again. It's a wonderful, wonderful gift to have a partner who is disabled. We share a life. So much is between us that doesn't need explanation, that doesn't need discussion. What a gift. All that sits between your chrome-wheeled chair and mine, a distance of freak names and shackled possibilities, a land of mother disappointment, child's play locked in hospital bed rails, acres of starch-white indifference, probes into private spaces without introduction or permission. Cripple yearnings for whole and romance, wants to be desire, wants to be pure flesh on fire. All that sits between your jagged bones and my gnarled attitude, telethon assumptions, prayers to granite invisibility we call God, rosary beads sewn into the linings of our coats, shame on our tongues like scales, cartoon silhouettes in rage-lit freeze frame, cripple yearnings for calm, ordinary, wants to be just fine. Wants to be so fine. All that sits between your searching heart and my sarcastic hope. Words that spell our names correctly. Laws that do more than just token our promise. Dreams like ants crawling under the skin, and that reach across the distance, frail bone hand, a twisted spine. These lives of passion and disturbance, echoes in a storm, and still, oh, still we have such a long way to go. It has been quite a journey, these 43 years. And I'm very happy to be able to be here tonight and say, there is a woman here, middle-aged, in her prime, with long legs and a short fuse. A woman who loves to write poems and dance. I have rhythm in the marrow, laughter too. I love to laugh and laugh. There is a woman here who has scars, visible and otherwise, more than you'd want to know, more than I want to count. A woman who believes in magic. I long for magic. I love stones before they're polished. I can picture Springsteen's thighs. Magic. There is a woman here with a stiff back and incredible flexibility, who tells lies for protection, the truth for survival, who sits in a chair on wheels and hauls sacks of self down as if she were stevedore. A woman who survives to dream dreams. I braid hair in my dreams. I have electric hair and need to be loved. Soft, soft lips and hate to be loved. Eyes shadowed by memory and want to be loved. Full, round hips, and I'm afraid to be loved. I love so easily. There is a woman here, full of colors. A survivor who survives to be a woman here. And I think I'd just like to close with one final little thing I'd like to say to you. I am not one of the physically challenged. No. I'm a suck in the eye with gnarled fist. I'm a French kiss with cleft tongue. I'm orthopedic shoes sewn on a last of your fears. I am not one of the differently abled. I'm an epitaph for 1,000,000 imperfect babies left untreated. I'm an icon carved from bones in a mass grave at Tiergarten, Germany. I'm withered legs hidden with a blanket. I am not one of the able disabled. I'm a Black Panther with green eyes and scars like a picket fence. I'm pink lace panties teasing a stub of milk white thigh. I'm the evil eye. I'm the first cell divided. I'm mud that talks. I'm Eve. I'm Kali. I'm the mountain that never moves. I've been here forever. I'll be here forever. I'm the gimp. I'm the cripple. I'm the crazy lady. I'm the woman with juice.